If you are a W-2 employee at a big tech firm, you are the most financially abused demographic in the entire global economy. And that sounds like an exaggeration or a stretch, but it's absolutely not. You are the most financially patronized group. And it's so absurd because the very people who are the engineers behind the global monopolies, the ones that are actually building the toll booths that the billionaires invest in and that family offices invest in, the very people that are behind that are being patronized and exploited by legacy financial planners. They are not teaching you the structures of a family office because they themselves are not capable. And you're going to watch this content, understand, invest in more than the actual financial planners themselves. You have one of the greatest weapons in all of global finance, and that is institutional liquidity. If you're working for a big tech company, you are getting stock-based compensation. And what do 90% of people do that get paid in stock is they sell it. They don't know what to do with it, but they're paying astronomical taxes. By the time it gets to your brokerage account, by it gets in your hands, you're paying almost 50% tax to sell the stock. Why are we doing this? Well, for a start, a financial planner will say to you, concentration risk. We need to sell this and get the S&P 500. We need to diversify you. And what do they get from that? They get an asset under management fee as well, which I've done plenty of videos on, which calculates it over 30% of your lifetime wealth. It's unbelievable, and it's going to get worse. Look at these numbers. I've calculated over 20 years, someone who is like an engineer at a big tech firm, paying an asset under management fee, paying the taxes on selling their stocks. They're confiscating over 6.3 million of lifetime wealth. The taxes and the advisor have literally confiscated your money. They have stolen money from you because they want to treat you like a financial toddler. It is absolutely absurd. It's insane. It's insanity. It's insanity. I absolutely hate wasted potential. I hate it so much. And when you understand you're not just a W-2 employee, you are now a portfolio manager. You are now running your own family office. You will understand investing more than the actual legacy financial advisors themselves. When you understand the family office structure, the buy, borrow, die framework, and we can actually take back that wealth that has been confiscated from you. Let's actually just look at the math. Now, you know yourself. You already know how much tax you pay. I don't need to tell you. It's effectively working out is nearly 50% of the net settlement of actual stocks that are, fully vested stocks. You understand this. If you want to get stock-based compensation, you know how this works. You know how much tax you're paying. There's a few elements, a few bits of compliance, obviously, what I'll cover off towards the end of the video, but the point I'm wanting to get across is transferring the stock to your own brokerage account as part of a barbell strategy portfolio. That's the point of this video. The point of this video is just to break through the veil that I believe W-2 earners have, because you're not treated like an operator the way a business owner or a founder might be, despite the fact that you're far more liquid, 10 times more liquid, 10 times more creditworthy than a founder would be. You're actually likely generating more free cash flow than 95% of businesses. But yet, the financial economy treats an employee completely different than the way they would treat a business owner, and the math says otherwise. I don't care what the rest of the world say, the math is on your side. if you were to transfer the funds into, say, your portfolio, and I'm making a separate video on Lee Lu's portfolio. He's a fantastic investor. He has asset under management of 4 billion, 40% in Google. It's not about just diversification, okay? This is what legacy financial advisors scream and shout about, to try and neuter your even ability to think about it. They don't even want you to think about it. They plague the media with, no one can invest. It's such a skill that no one else can do, despite the fact that you're probably sitting with 160 IQ, writing algorithms that run the global monopolies of big tech, right? So it is not as complicated as Wall Street want you to believe. First of all, I do not know which company you work for. I do not know which big tech it is, or if it's a small tech firm. It's common that a small tech firm might pay you. All we need to establish is if the company has pricing power. Does it have a software that companies cannot live without? Can it raise prices? Does it have a moat? General questions. But if it's genuinely a big tech, if you're working for like the Mag 7, Google, Microsoft, Meta, if you're working for these, it's a no-brainer to keep the stock, in my opinion. But of course, I do not know the company, so I need to make that clear. You know the company, you can audit the company for yourself. But what we do is we get stocks to protect the portfolio. This is a perfect example of a 60-40 barbell. 60% of Lee Lu's stocks are in growth. Yeah, he's growth and 40% defensive. Now, if you don't know who Lee Lu is, he was the only person that Charlie Munger ever gave his personal money outside his actual personal money to manage. That is his, a feather in his cap. A fantastic investor. He's nicknamed the Chinese Warren Buffett. So there you go. That's just who we're talking about. But he's structured a perfect buy, borrow, die portfolio. So he's mixed his growth stocks with defensive stocks. So for example, I talked about this in the video, it's Berkshire Hathaway. He has Bank of America, Berkshire Hathaway, defensive stocks to protect his portfolio. Okay, so what I suggest, the way a family office would normally borrow against the portfolio, is a conservative loan against the portfolio of 20%. Okay, and in this video, if you watch my buy, borrow, die portfolio videos, I go into more detail about how to safely and responsibly structure the portfolio like professionals do, and how to borrow against the portfolio in a conservative, responsible manner. It's not as difficult as you do, and even in this video, I calculated what would happen if Google crashed 100%, and yet he's still protected from a margin call. The numbers are unbelievable, and it will completely take away your fear, any fear you may have of the strategy. But most importantly, there's a few reasons why do people not do this? Why do big tech staff not take on the stock themselves? Well, first, the strategy is not openly discussed for protection of whoever is talking about the strategy. A legacy financial advisor isn't even qualified to teach this strategy. They can't even talk about it. They are, gagged legally, and compliance, they're not allowed to talk about it. And you also need to understand the margin, your actual brokerage platform. Most brokerage platforms are often ridiculous margin rates. You should not be paying these 10%, 11%, 12% margin rates. I cannot tell you which broker to go with, but I can say this. There are platforms that offer low cost margin rates at competitive rates, okay? So let me see if I can bring this up on the screen. Okay. So right above my camera, my camera's in the way, but look at directly above me, right? See this? Look at these rates. Just look at the rates. Yeah? There are brokers out there that are offering competitive rates with very low fees. Okay? I can't tell you what to do as far as your decisions, but the platform, what I tend to believe is the more gamified the platform is, the more neon colors, the more big logos and shiny software, the more expensive the platform is, and the more complicated the platform looks, the more institutional it is. It's a filter in itself. Yes, it might feel like you're flying a 747. You're sitting in a 747 cockpit when you first go onto these platforms, but you'll get the hang of it a lot quicker than you think. So there you go. You are in such a strong position to run and structure your own family office. So this was just a short video to just explain the potential that is there. And it's the simple fact I want to get across is to take the stock into your own hands and to start understanding how we structure the portfolio and completely avoid paying any asset under management fees, because they are confiscating your wealth, they're confiscating your lifetime wealth. And this is my content on YouTube is aimed at you. This is who it is for. And it's for people that want to structure their own family office, be responsible, and be treated like an adult, most importantly. So I recommend the content on the actual portfolios, and I will make more videos on this exact topic. But right now it was maybe more of a rant to just wake people up that are in this demographic, and we can begin structuring the portfolio for you.